All right, so chapter 4 of Time Paradox Ghostwriter. It's finally solidified what the relationship between Itsuki and Teppei is going to be like. And it's delving into how he's going to deal with the manga. There's just so much that happened in this chapter. I need to talk about it, so let's get into it. So right off the bat, they talk about getting new assistants. So that's cool because the manga is getting serialized soon. And we meet a couple of guys. They seemed cool. There was like this young kid that was really energetic. There was a pro assistant, like an older guy that seems like he can really take the reins on stuff. And then there was like another guy that he was like tall and had glasses, and he just seemed like a really funny guy. Like kind of like the serious type, but like also like the comments he makes are like really funny. So he's actually probably my favorite out of those three. And then actually Itsuki is gonna be one of Teppei's assistants. And that's crazy because she said she was gonna be his rival, but I didn't really know what kind of shape that was going to take. But now we see that she's going to like train under him so she can ultimately surpass him. Which I guess he kind of has mixed feelings on, because he's like, yo, you're gonna train under me when really what you're seeing is the fruits of your own effort in 10 years. So he's like, damn, I don't really know how I feel about this, but I guess I just have to accept her. And then so that happens, right? And that's really exciting, because now they're going to be interacting with each other on the daily, right? So she's going to be in this manga a lot more from now on. We're going to see a lot more dynamic between those two, which is something that I'm super excited about. And I'm really happy for this change, because she can still be a good rival this way too, but they're also going to be collaborating together and working together. So it's not like we just see her once in a blue moon. She'll be pretty much assumingly in every chapter. Is that a word, assumingly? I'm assuming it is. But yeah, so I like that change. And then it jumps more into Teppei getting ready, like making the final draft for the first chapter, since they're going to serialize it. And he's like feeling really complex emotions. Basically, he's super torn up, because you literally see him in one panel literally looking at the future issue of Shonen Jump while drawing the exact same thing. So he's trying to he's imitating not only White Knight, but he's also trying to like imitate the art. But he doesn't know if he can do it. He doesn't know how he can do it, because her art is also super amazing. And this just builds like an inferiority complex. And it's also like, damn, I'm like really copying this shit. Like, not only am I copying like the story and whatnot, but also like I'm trying to copy the exact art, and I can't even do that right. How am I going to be like a worthy successor to this? Like, how can I bring it to this world if I can't really fully portray its full splendor? Like, so he doesn't really know what to do with himself. So he's constantly drawing and redrawing and drawing and redrawing. And then his assistants come over when it's getting close to the deadline, and they're like, yo, did you finish the draft so we can get started on these backgrounds? And he's like, nah, I haven't even finished it yet. I haven't been satisfied with the art yet. So it gets closer and closer, and he finally like finishes like the new and improved art. And all the assistants are like, yo, this is crazy. And the guy with the glasses that I like was like, yo, the goat is born. That was funny as hell. But then he asks Itsuki, and he's like, yo, what do you think? And she's like, she hesitates a little bit. She's like, I really like it. And I guess he hesitates because at that point, she's not really anywhere close to Teppei's level. So she's probably like comparing herself and being like, yo, damn, I'm really far behind this guy. But for some reason, Teppei's not really satisfied with that answer. I'm not really sure why, but once she says that, he gets super frustrated and tears it up and says it's still not good enough. And I'm not really super sure why he feels that way. Maybe if you guys have any ideas, you could let me know in the comments. But something that I could be thinking about is, like, he's copying her art. What he's doing is an imitation of what she did. So maybe seeing her in the past, like, I don't even know, like, I guess it's that he can't really help but compare himself to her, and he knows it's not good enough despite what other people are saying. At least that's what I'm guessing. But yeah, it's super crazy. Like, they're getting really close to the deadline, and he hasn't got anything done. So he really needs to focus on that. And that's definitely going to be what the next chapter is. Him and the assistants really trying to crank out this first chapter before the deadline hits. And then I don't know, maybe the next chapter will end with like it was finally serialized or something like that. Like maybe the last panel will show it serialized or something. I don't know. It was like a really cool chapter. I really liked it. It was a bit of a change of pace too. Something that I did like is that it was getting more into like the actual manga creating aspect with him like constantly redrawing and redrawing to get the art better, and like introducing the assistants, which are going to be a big part of the process. Yeah, I just really liked it, and I really like all the new characters. Again, like the tall guy with the glasses is probably my favorite. But it looked like there's going to be a rivalry between that young kid and Itsuki as well, which is going to be cool to see. You know, I really do feel bad for Teppei because he's copying everything. He's stolen this girl's life. Like, he feels like a piece of shit right now, right? And after all this, like, he feels like he can't even properly convey the story that he's been tasked with. So I mean, I kind of feel bad for him. I hope he gets like a confidence booster if he finally can nail down this art. But I feel like eventually, even if he does that, and that'll increase his motivation, like, yo, I finally did it, like, it's up to snuff. I feel like even if he does that, I touched on this in my last video as well on chapter 3, but I feel like eventually he's definitely going to have to bring his own originality to the story in order for him to feel like he's not totally just copying something and reproducing it. So for now, I think we're definitely just going to see him trying to get his production up to what the Itsuki Aino in 10 years can do. But I think we eventually will see him trying to bring his own spin to it. At least that's what I hope. And then another thing I wanted to touch on is I mentioned earlier how he was just like copying, like looking at the future issue and just copying it. And you saw that he had like a bunch of little tabs in it to like go back and forth between. So it's interesting because in the first chapter, he read it and then it disappeared. So I'm wondering if now they're staying longer or if it's just like when he's done with it, it disappears. But something that I thought of is that maybe eventually like one of the assistants or something will see him reading it, or we'll find it in like his desk or something. And then they'll be like, yo, what the hell is this? And then it'll all be exposed, right? Maybe they won't believe it at first, but like something will be exposed because he has a future, because he has an issue of Jump with White Knight in it. So something, I feel like there could be something along those lines that could happen eventually. Maybe not. But that was just a little detail that I noticed, that he was like making notes and like going back and forth. One in the first chapter, it had just disappeared right after reading it. So I wonder if we'll get more rules on the aspect of that, or if it's just something that doesn't really matter. It's in the background, so it's not a big deal. That's something in general that I'm interested is if it's going to be touched upon, because the series is called Time Paradox Ghostwriter, and yes, the paradox part has already been addressed, but I really wonder if the time machine thing is going to play a role in the future of this manga at all, or if it was just a setup piece for the story that this author wanted to tell. I don't know. I'm fine with it either way. But at the same time, I really don't want them to just forget about it entirely. So as long as it's mentioned every now and then, I think that's enough for me. But I mean, if they want to delve more into it, that's more than welcome. I'm going to be more than happy if they did that. But that was just another thought that occurred to me, so I wasn't sure what's going to happen with that. But yeah, I don't know. This was just a really, really great chapter in general. I liked it a lot. So yeah, that's all I had to say for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like on this video if you liked anything that I had to say. Please consider subscribing if you want to see my content in the future. And yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Bye.